How's it going, guys? I'm Chase Lee, and I'm here to give you guys another movie review, and that would be The Hateful Eight. Yeah, look at that. Look at that fancy board right there. Oh, yeah. So, anyways, I'm here to review The Hateful Eight Roadshow Edition, which is the 70-millimeter full 3-hour cut. We have the overture, the intermission, and if you went to that screening, you got this cool, nifty little booklet. It's kind of cool. It's got some behind-the-scenes photos in it and stuff. It's very cool, and it was definitely worth the ticket to get the book and see the whole experience as Quentin Tarantino wanted you to see. So let's break this down. Let's get real and let's do this. All right, so directing and writing. I am a huge fanboy of Quentin Tarantino. Always have been, always will. And I actually love this movie. It was my number 7 favorite film out of my top 10 of the year and stuff. So let's get into some of the positives of this movie. Now, this movie is called The Hateful Eight, and there is a Western out there called The Magnificent Seven, and there's even a film that's even based off of that. It's called Seven Samurai. And so what Quentin did was he took this kind of like this name recognition and this Western type of feel, and he flipped it on its head, because if you watch like the Magnificent Seven, they have their flaws as characters, but most of the part, sorry guys, this is live, so whatever comes out of my mouth comes out of my mouth. But they're portrayed, in that era as heroes, and they're very triumphant and stuff, and they have minimal flaws, but they're seen as heroes. Most Westerns are seen that way. What Quentin Tarantino did was he took that concept and he flipped it, and he was like, you know what? Let's have most of these people unbearable and actually very terrible people with like a little bit of humanity inside of them. And that's exactly what this movie was, and I absolutely loved it from start to finish. It's like watching a really slow train wreck happen. It's just, you see all these characters and they're bickering and they're all just terrible people, and you're just like, just kill each other already. And it's really claustrophobic, and it really makes you want to know more about these characters. You're kind of stuck that way. They're all stuck in this cabin, and we have this story that's very, very straightforward, and we find out a little bit of each character and stuff, and why they're the way they are and stuff. And also what I liked about this movie is that there is a there's a theme of racism throughout this entire thing, and how dirty and gross it was back in the day, and how we still kind of face it today, even in 2015. And at the very end of the movie, there's like that one glimmer of hope and humanity with 2 of the characters, and you're just like, that was the whole point of this movie. It's like all these people are really gross on their exteriors and stuff, and we don't really want to get to know them. But once we did, we realized that there was actually some good in them. It's just you had to like dig deep in there and get it out. So that's another thing I liked. And the one thing I've always liked about Quentin Tarantino's movies is that all of his movies are damn entertaining. They are just entertaining from start to finish, and that goes from the script all the way to his directing. The script for this movie, I felt like it was a Tarantino movie, but there was something about it that wasn't as punchy as the other scripts. I still think it's a very good script. I think it's a very good story with all these interesting characters, because that's what's really great about his movies, and that's why you're so invested in Tarantino movies, is that not only are they damn entertaining, you're also interested in the story and the characters, and he creates universes, and he creates these mini worlds inside each movie to where it's just super fascinating. You want to see where it ends. So I thought the writing was really good, and I thought the script was very sharp. It had some really great dialogue, some really great character moments and scenes. But for the most part, I thought it was, like I said, there was just a little less punch than a normal Tarantino script. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. But overall, it's still a very well-written script and very well-directed movie with the points I said. The one thing I didn't really like about the directing and Tarantino's choices for this film. Now listen, I've seen all of his movies. I realize how violent and bloody they can get. But there were a few scenes in this movie where I was like, Tarantino, you might have gone too far. Now, I'm a huge fanboy of like all the Saw movies and gore movies to which you haven't even seen. Some of them are foreign films, and they're extremely gory, and you're just like, why would you even watch that stuff? I like it. Sue me. But there were a couple scenes in this movie where I was like, ugh, Tarantino, you're going too far even for you. Like, there's a couple scenes in this movie, a couple shots and stuff that are super violent and gory, even beyond his means, where I'm just like, yeah, that doesn't really gel with me. It was cool to watch, but I I thought he went a little too far with the violence, which is really weird to say considering I like all of his movies a lot. So that would be some of my cons with the writing and directing. But overall, it's a very strongly directed and written movie. Tarantino always has his vision. He goes for it, and he completes it. Acting-wise, no qualms with the acting. Everyone delivers a fantastic performance. Jennifer Jason Leigh is so gross as a human being. She's disgusting, but she's just, like I said, she's so interesting to watch. You're just like, well, what is she up to? What is she going to do next and stuff? Kurt Russell is awesome as the hangman, and Samuel L. Jackson is the main standout as the bounty hunter. His character does a huge major switch. Like in the middle of the movie, you're just like, oh my God, I didn't even think that. Well, what? My perception of this character has changed. What is going on? So, yeah, the acting all around is fantastic, but Samuel L. Jackson's definitely a standout. And a close second would probably be Walton Goggins. Dear God, that guy, he's been in a lot of stuff, and he's kind of like that unknown actor where you see him in like TV shows and stuff and movies, and you don't really know his name, but you recognize his face. You'll recognize his name after this movie. All of the supporting cast is fine. Bruce Dern's fine. There's one scene in the movie with Bruce Dern where his face looks so horrific that it sold me. I was like, that one scene right there just sells his entire performance for me and how convincing it was. The celebrity cameo is really good. They have an important part to the story, so they definitely make sense, and I thought they were pretty good. And then Michael Madsen and what's his name? Oh, I forgot. I'm not a Tarantino fan anymore. Oh, I forgot. But anyways, he plays another bounty hunter. He's really good too. And but like I said, the three standouts are Samuel L. Jackson's, Kurt Russell, and Jennifer Jason Leigh for sure. Cinematography wise, this is where I'm kind of like, okay, yes, and then okay, no. The outside exterior shots are so gorgeous. It just baffles me that Tarantino chose 70 millimeter for the cabin scenes. Now, like I said, I love the claustrophobic nature of this movie. I love the fact that we are stuck in this cabin with these characters to get to know them and have us more interested in the story and stuff. I get that. But when you have the cabin shot in 70 millimeter, it had 70 millimeters like that extreme, like wide screen look to where you could see everything in frame. Like it shows a lot more than normal. So all the outside stuff is beautiful. And I love the fact that Quentin Tarantino took advantage of the landscapes around him and really made this like super atmospheric movie to where when you were outside, you felt the cold and you felt the epic scope. When you were inside in the cabin, you felt claustrophobic and you felt more self-contained, and then you felt a bit of warmth amongst all this violent tension because there was a fire in there and you could feel that fire versus outside where it was cold as hell. So cinematography-wise, outside, gorgeous. I love the whites and the snow mixed in with the blood and stuff. I love that. He did that with the Django Unchained with the blood and the cotton. That was really good. But the inside cabin shots, most of the shots were fine, but I would say unnecessary. Now, there were a few scenes in the cabin to where it was an extreme widescreen to where there were a bunch of characters placed in the shot. So there was a lot going on. So your eye could kind of roam from left to right and go, oh man, this is a lot going on. But for the most part, the 70 millimeter was unnecessary in the cabin. That's just me personally, even though it was shot gorgeously. I'm glad Tarantino has a love for film and bringing that back. So you have to commend him for that. Editing wise, this film is 3 hours long. If you watch the special Roadshow Edition, this 70 millimeter film print, I felt like it flew by for me. It was one of the fastest movies of the year for sure. However, not the overture. The overture was fine. I love the overture and how it set the tone and this sense of dread and disgust and violence that we were going to see throughout the movie. I love that. I have no problem with that. But the first part of the movie, for some weird reason, it took like 10, 15 minutes for me to actually like fully immerse myself into the movie. I don't know what it was, but there was a certain part in part one, because Tarantino labels it in 6 parts. There's a certain part in part one where I was like, okay, now I'm hooked, I'm ready to go. But there was just like this slight lag for some reason in my brain. And a lot of people are worrying if you see the first part and it has the intermission, when you get to the second part, even though you have the intermission, can you pick up right into it and get invested right away? Of course. Because the first half is an extreme buildup and the second half is all payoff with blood and guts and stuff. Imagine like popping a pimple. Like in the first part, you were holding that pimple and you were slowly squeezing it until it's like final days. And at the end of part 1, which is a great ramp up of suspense, by the way, at the end of part 1, like the blackhead like has cracked a little bit, and then part 2 is you have squeezed it and all that stuff, all the gross oils and dirt and stuff out of your pimple have flown outward and stuff. So that's what part 2 is like. So that's how the movie's kind of structured. So it was kind of rough in the beginning, but I immediately got into it, and it was extremely fast for me from that point on. The music is some of the best I've heard all year. That score is outstanding. And when you put it in the overture like that, it starts out whimsical, like any other Western would be. I'm riding cowboy. And then like throughout the overture, it gets so dark and dreary. You're just like, oh yes, Tarantino, this is what we're getting ourselves into. And I love it. So the score is great. And it's definitely one of the best of the year. I really hope it wins at the Oscars. Like The Hateful Eight, The Revenant, Carol, and maybe a couple others have my vote for a song, but those three are the ones that stand out. But the Hateful Eight score is great. It fully immerses you into that movie, especially with the overture at the very beginning. That's why I highly implore you guys to see the Roadshow 70mm edition. I think it's totally worth it. Guys, like I said, this is one of the best movies of the year for sure. It's my number 7 among the top 10. I'm writing my score down right now. So out of all those praises and those cons I had of the movie, I'm going to give the Hateful Eight a solid A. It's that good, ladies and gentlemen. But what's weird about it is it's great among the 2015 movies. However, is it one of my favorite Tarantino movies? He's made great movies. All 8 of them are great. I wouldn't put this in my top 3. I'm just saying. Maybe the more I sit on it, the more I think about it, and the more I watch it, it might change my mind. But for right now, it's still a great movie, and I love it to death, even with the minor problems I have. But it's still not my favorite Tarantino. That's just how good he is. So have you seen the Hateful Eight Roadshow Edition, or have you seen the regular edited version? Tell me what the differences are and stuff. Comment in the place where open my face and let me know. And as always, I'm Chase Lee, you guys, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later. The Hateful Eight, a bloody good time. Let's play the outro music. Tarantino. There's a couple of scenes where he went too far, and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm watching Hostel 3. So, all right, I'll see you guys later.